with comedian Dave Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So I just got back from my sister-in-law's birthday lunch. Well, they're all still there. I had to leave to come and record this podcast, and I drove everyone there. So to come back here, I had to take the car because everyone else is hammered. And to get back to where I'm going, you have to go on like the main fucking road that is just chaos, and you've got to pull this crazy U-turn in the middle of the whole thing, but you got to merge in. Anyway, I'm on the big boy fucking roads in the middle of peak hour, driving by myself for the first time, and it's fucking nerve-wracking. I have been driving around a lot. I've been driving around to the gym, been driving around to Leon Grill to pick up my fucking chicken strips and shit. I've been doing a fair bit of driving around this area, but it's quiet. I sort of know what's going on the road. It's not quiet. You would still think it's one of the busiest streets in Australia if you were on it. You're like, this is crazy, but it's quiet in comparison to these fucking main roads. And I've driven the main roads before, but late at night with people in the car. Not peak hour. This is a completely different fucking ball game. So when I was leaving the lunch and going downstairs to pick up the car, I was nervous. I was like, this is going to be a fucking mish. I was going over exactly what I needed to do. I need to fucking go down the service lane. I need to somehow merge onto the main road, which is fucking difficult because there's just trucks, there's cranes, there's fucking tuk-tuks, motorbikes, all trying to get into this little gap to get into this main road. It's a hectic maneuver you have to pull there. Anyway, I get the fucking car and I go out of the joint. I go onto the service road. The service road's fine. It's a couple of kilometers till I have to move into the main road. And I'm in a car, a brand new car that I haven't driven before. One of the cousin's cars, and it's not feeling very familiar to me. So I'm fucking missing first and second gear because the reverse is on the wrong side. It was weird. So I'm not even in full command of the car, and I'm trying to fucking do this shit. So I get to the point where the service road is merging into this main road, and there just happens to be fucking 3 police officers right at the point where I have to merge in. I'm like, oh no, what the fuck? Because I haven't got a license. I'm just out there freeballing. I am freeballing it in India with no license. So I've seen what the other drivers do when police tell them to stop. And what they generally do is ignore the police and go around them. And that was my plan. I'm like, I can't get pulled over. I'm going to be the first one in line. They're going to see me. They're going to ask for my fucking driver's license. I can't stop. I can't stop here. I have to ignore the cop and just go around him. So I'm like not slowing down. I'm like, I'm just going to go around this cunt. And the cop steps out and he's waving me down. And I'm like, oh no. And I'm just like, fuck him. And I go to veer off a little bit. And then he jumps out in front of me. I haven't slowed down at all. And he's like waving his hand. I'm like, is this guy insane? Am I about to run over a fucking police officer with no license in India? So he's jumped out in front of me while I'm trying to ignore him and go around him. And he's just waving and yelling. I have to fucking slam on the brakes so I don't run over a police officer. And he's in front of my car and he's just staring at me. He's like, what the fuck was that? And he comes up to my window and he's just looking at me, shaking his head. I'm like, what? I was always going to stop. Like, I gave him that shoulder shrug. Like I was always going to stop. And he just stared at me for like 10 seconds. Like the fucking deadliest stare you've ever seen. I'm like, yeah, I was just testing the brakes. And then he just walked off. He didn't ask me for my driver's license or anything. I almost killed him. And I'm a white guy. And I'm driving with no license. And he's just like, all right, everything seems good here. So after that, I've got to fucking merge into this main road. I get onto the main road. It was like dicey. You've just got to edge You just got to slowly edge over. Like, I'm on the far left of this main road, and I've got to go like 4 lanes across to the right-hand side because I need to pull a U-ey so I can go back in the same direction. And those 4 lanes are just, there's no room. There's nowhere to go. You just have to go like fucking inch by inch, just slowly across. You don't even know how you're doing it. It doesn't make any sense. I'm like, how the fuck am I going to get across? And you just slowly fucking edge across. And then the next thing you know, you're like, oh fuck, I'm in the far right-hand lane. I've cut like 400 cunts off. Buses, trucks. It's the weirdest. It's so fucking strange. It's so illegal. Every move you're doing is completely illegal. There's no indicating either. You're just edging. Anyway, I get to the place where you do a fucking U-ey, and that's a nightmare too. And the weirdest thing was, there was a guy there sitting on the road where you do the U-turn. Just on the side of it, there's like thousands of cars going past, and he's sitting there, and he's got his legs stretched out, like in the middle of the road. Just casually has his leg stretched out, and just everyone goes around it. He's not worried about his leg at all. He's sitting there he's not even thinking about his leg. Everyone just goes around it. You just move on. Anyway, I do this U-turn, and then, my God, on the way back, it was even worse. I was pulling some fucking moves. I did this move that I'm like, I think there's about a 90% chance I'm going to crash here. But I had to do it because I needed to get into the service lane, because if I miss that service lane, it's like 10 kilometers up the road before I can fucking turn left again. So I saw it all happening. There was a fucking slow ass like crane, like a tractor crane in front of me, and it was blocking the entrance to the service lane. And coming up the service lane was a fucking bus, a dodgy local bus, just a tin piece of shit. That was coming up fast, and these bus drivers here, they do not give a fuck. They don't care what's going on. They're just ram raiders. And I'm like, fuck, I need to get between this tractor as the bus is coming up, and the concrete divider's there too. And there's a gap in the concrete divider so you can go into the service lane. It's enough for about 2 cars, and the crane was covering like half the gap, and it was moving too slowly for me to fucking wait, and the bus was moving too fast coming into the gap, and I was just like, I'm gonna have to fucking punch it here. So I'm like, I gotta fucking take the gap, and I floored it, and I braced myself. That's how confident I was the bus was gonna hit me. So I braced myself, and then nothing. I just got through, and then I just moved on with my day like a normal Indian driver. What's the next hazard? It was hectic. The thing is, on the roads here, you just don't know what people are going to do. Half of driving is like predicting what the cunt ahead of you is about to do. Here, you've got no idea. Is the cunt ahead of me going to fucking take the left? His left indicator's on, I don't know, but it's been on for the last fucking 10 Ks. Is that bus going to merge, or is he going to do a U-turn to speak to his mate across the road? Is that guy braking, or is he about to hop out of his car to change his tire? I don't know. You just don't know what's going on. Indians know what's going on. They predict it, but you got to spend a lot of time on the road to fucking predict all the chaos that can possibly happen on these roads. Jesus Christ, it was hectic. I'm not going to fucking lie. That was fucking hectic. Anyway, I got here, I got the podcast done, and after this, I'm heading back. Heading back. But I'm experienced now. I have confidence. So, let's do it. Let's gear up again. That'll do for today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you the fuck later.